whoever thought washing a vehicle would be so dramatic, right? We have so many foam washes and 2-bucket wash method, but sometimes you can't go all fancy schmancy and have a pressure washer with a foam cannon and foam it down and do a 4-bucket wash method. Sometimes, depending on your area, the weather, you simply have to go with a much more simplistic wash method. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to do a rinseless wash method. Now, the reason why you want to do this is to use minimal water to clean your vehicle. So let's get started. Now, an important part of this process is to understand when and where you should use a rinseless wash method on your vehicle, right? If your vehicle is heavily contaminated, or it is corrected and it's polished and coated, those two things might sway your decision on going with a more traditional wash method, a 2-bucket wash method, a foam wash, versus a rinseless wash. Just because, one, if it's very caked on, you're gonna need a pressure washer. You're gonna need to take off a lot of that dirt before you start washing the vehicle. Or because you don't wanna increase the chance of you adding swirls and scratches back into your paint because it is corrected and coated, perhaps the rinseless wash method isn't best suited for your vehicle. Another thing is, if you just want to wash your vehicle, you're not too worried about, okay, the swirls and scratches and imperfections. If you're not worried about that, but you just need a more simplistic way to wash your vehicle, this is also a great alternative. Not everyone is super, conscious and cognitive of, oh, I can't add one little imperfection into my paintwork. Not everyone is like that. I would actually argue most people are not like that. So depending on your situation, there is no right answer, there is no wrong answer. It's what fits you and your situation, and what you want to achieve with your vehicle, with the wash process, will dictate what you choose. So first, we got to get the products that we're going to use. We're going to be using our Optimum No Rinse as our rinseless solution. There's so many brands out there. Choose which one that you like and go with that one. We just happen to use Optimum No Rinse. On top of that, we also need to get our wash towel. So for us, you can use a wash mitt, wash towel, whichever one you would like. For us, for this example, we're going to get 3 wash towels here. And I'll tell you why we're using towels over mitts, and then we're gonna go over to our bucket. Now, because how we're gonna be washing this vehicle, we're actually not gonna be using a grit guard here. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna put the towels in here. Now you can read the label on the product that you're using to see what ratio to dilute it at, because that's gonna be dependent on what you're using. But for us, we are very, very specific and scientific of everything that we do here. So I'm just gonna fill this up to 3 caps, and that should look about right. And that was just a joke. We just eye things. We don't really do measurements here. In the bucket, we might have 2 gallons of water. We have 3 wash towels, no grit guard, and we have our rinseless solution. Now, the reason why we don't have a grit guard is because my voice is cracked, is because anytime that we get a towel here, we're not gonna bring it back into this bucket. We're gonna discard it in a separate bucket. Now, you don't have to have a separate bucket like we do. Just put it somewhere else. But essentially, that's what we do in our operations, to where we don't need to worry about a grit guard or anything like that, because we're not going to reintroduce a dirty towel into this clean bucket. This bucket will always stay clean at all times. So the next part is, if you want, you could actually rinse down the vehicle. Now, I know that doesn't kind of go along with minimal water usage, but if you're the kind that wants to take that extra precaution to rinse down the vehicle before they begin the wash process, up to you. For this example, we are not going to do that. We're going to go straight into the wash process. All right, so next step now is to get your towel, and an important step into this, to making sure you're maximizing your towel usage, is to make sure you're folding it correctly. So this is a towel, right, unfolded, obviously. So you're going to fold it once, right? And then fold it again. Boom, that's it. You're gonna fold it into 4s. What you don't want is, you don't just wanna grab it like this, right? There's gonna be too much water in there, and you're not gonna be able to clean effectively if you're just bunching it all up like this. So you wanna make sure you're folding it into 4. Depending on the towel that you're using, the length of it, maybe you can only do twice, maybe you can do more than that. If you're using a wash mitt, it's not gonna make much of a difference. If you have multiple wash mitts in here, you're just gonna use one side at a time. For this, we're using towels, so we're gonna get it and fold it into 4s, like we're going back to grade school, and there we go. Another thing is, you don't need the towel just completely dripping in water, right? So you just want to give it a quick little push out, a little firm pressure to get the water out. And look, it's not dripping, it's not, you know, oozing down and just creating a big old mess. So next step here, what we're gonna do is, and since we're not using water, since we're just gonna be washing it as is, we wanna use light pressure. So basically, you just want the towel to be dragged along the paint, but you're not putting any pressure down yourself, right? You're not doing any agitation yourself. You're literally just gonna be dragging the towel alongside the paint with basically no pressure. Now, one thing you wanna note is, as there starts to be gunk build up on the towel, just move the towel, just fold the towel again to get to a clean side. So for instance, this side right here is all dirty right here. So if we just fold this back and use this side, this is now the cleaner side. And we'll just bring it down here. And as we can tell, there's now dirt accumulated right here, and you can fold it one more time if you'd like. This is kind of exaggerative. Like I wouldn't really do it exactly like this when I'm washing the vehicle, but just for demonstration purposes. And again here, this is all built up. So now if we unfold this and we see here, we have now used an entire towel to wash one panel. Again, that was an exaggerated way of me doing it. Realistically, it's gonna look something more like this, right? It's not gonna be, it's not gonna be as, because with the way I'm doing it, I am still pushing the towel away, and we're still gonna have 3 different lines accumulating dirt. It's just over time, you just get, you know, faster with it. So now that we have both sides done here, we're going to, you guessed it, flip it to the other side, and continue the wash process, putting very gentle pressure on there, continually moving the towel to the cleaner side of the side that you're using. And again, as you can tell right here, there is a dirt line right here and a dirt line right here. And you're really just gonna follow that exact same process across the entire vehicle. That simple, that straightforward. And as you can see, the entire towel is used up. Obviously, we're not gonna use this, and that's why we're not gonna dump it back into the bucket, because this is a dirty towel. We wanna use fresh towels every single time. Okay, so now that let's just say that this towel is completely dirty already. I'm just calling it. It's not, though. We still have plenty of size left. But if it is dirty now, I'm gonna go ahead and just squeeze this out. Any excess water, you don't have to. I'm actually just gonna do that just because of habit. We always do that. And then I'm gonna discard this into the dirty towel bucket. All right, next is we're gonna go and say get another towel. We're gonna get our towel, fold it into 4s. Correct. We're gonna squeeze some of that juice out. And then we're just gonna wash the entire vehicle in this process. Nothing crazy, nothing difficult. Pretty straightforward, actually. So we didn't touch on drying. As you're washing the panels and such, you could go, depending on the situation, whether you're indoors, out there, it's sun, it's cloudy, those factors will play into consideration. But as you're washing your vehicle, right, and you are doing what you're supposed to be doing, at that same time, you can come back with a drying towel and simply wipe it down. Now, the reason why I say it depends on a few factors is because if you are, like, let's say in here in the garage, no sun, the panels are cool to the touch, so there's no really external weather factors that would make me want to dry this immediately. So I could actually do half the vehicle, then come back and dry it off. Now, whereas if you're outside in 80, 90, 95 degree weather, the sun's beating down on the vehicle, after every panel, you'd want to immediately dry it off, because if not, the sun's going to dry that remaining water and any residue that's going to be on that paint. So depending on your situation will kind of dictate which one you want to do. Especially if you're in the winter, maybe you want to do the whole vehicle first and then come back and dry if you're given the opportunity based on what the environment is that you're working in. Now, same concept with your drying towel. You don't need to put any heavy pressure. You don't need to do anything crazy. You don't need to flip the side over and over just because it's already clean. So here you can literally just go over the panels very gently but quickly because it's already clean, and it'll take no time to dry the vehicle for you. Now in other videos, I'll go into more depth of like using a drying aid, using different towels, using a blower, many other things. So make sure you subscribe to catch those other videos. But here we're literally going to take one single towel, go across everything that we just cleaned, and dry it off. Alright, and it's a really relatively straightforward process. I don't want you to overcomplicate it. I only did one side of the vehicle just because I'm going to use the other side for another video. But it's very straightforward. Please keep in mind what I said about when this is most appropriate for your vehicle, because this type of wash method is not going to fit every single scenario for every single vehicle. So like everything else, choose what fits your situation to get the desired results that you want. Check the description box down below for any of the tools and products that I mentioned in this video. They'll be linked down below, as well as any other links that I have that you want to find out more about Proper Care or Detail Groove. That'll be in the description box down as well. Thank you for tuning in. Leave a comment down below of if you use the rinseless wash method, if this is something new to you, where you're going to be using this wash method. I'd love to hear what you have to say about this method, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye-bye.